Today we're talking all about hot and fast brisket on the Big Green Egg. So let's head out to the grill. Let's get things started. Ingredients today doesn't get any more simple than this. Brisket. So we have a 13-pound choice packer brisket. That means it's got the flat and the point. We're going to show you how we get that all trimmed up today. Seasoning it off, we're going to use our rub-a-dub and a little bit of oil to act as a binder. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Next up, we're going to show you how we trim the brisket. A couple things I look for in my briskets is I'm actually going to push down on that fat just to see how hard it is. I find that when the fat is kind of soft, right, like that, it tells me that it is not thick. When it is hard like this, it tells me it's a little bit thicker. When it's super hard, it definitely tells me even thicker yet. But a couple things we're going to do. We're actually going to trim this really clean today, probably leaving just some little pieces of fat, maybe an 1/8 inch of fat, and then we're definitely going to come around and get that spongy part. You're always going to have this oxidized side there. We're going to get that trimmed as well, and then we're going to go in there and separate off some of that decal fat. So we'll get in here and get prep going and get started on our trimming. So I'm just using a thin-bladed boning knife, and what I'm trying to do is just get in there and get some of that fat, a little bit of that connective tissue off, and I'm actually going to trim this bottom pretty clean, not leaving any connective, not much fat at all. All right, so as you can see, I have the bottom of the flat all cleaned up, and now I'm getting into this kind of that decal, right? It's in between the flat and the point, and I'm gonna do a little bit of trimming, not so much, but I definitely wanna get some of that out just so it doesn't leave a ton of fat. And then for sure, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and get this edge cleaned up as well, exposing a nice new edge. We'll do that first. So basically what I'm doing is just cutting alongside this fat. I wanna get that oxidation off there, exposing some of that beautiful, beautiful brisket. Not so much though, but look at that. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I've got this trimmed up here right between the flat and the point. Now, check it out. Little kind of a wonky job at the butcher, and I hate to tell you, I'm afraid that this is gonna be crazy and get burned up, so I'm actually gonna trim that off, just trying to get a little bit of that saved, I guess. I'll use it for burgers down the road, but then at least it's not burned. Now, the bottom, all ready to go. When we get into trimming the top, look at this. This tells me how thick that fat is. So next up, I'm gonna go through and trim all of this fat, getting it down to either none or about 1/8 of an inch. As you can see, I'm trimming this a little bit lean in here. I'm gonna go and leave a little bit of this fat. I kind of like that. It kind of looks like popcornish. I wanna get some of this thicker fat off here, and then I'll just finish up right now and go through this last little bit. I've got the backside already cleaned up. Now, the one thing I know we should probably be concerned about a little bit is, see how we have a little bit thicker here, a little bit thinner here? When we're going hot and fast, we may end up overcooking that little part. So what I'm actually gonna do is just round that off a little bit. I'll save that for burger trim. And then I'm also going to round this off for some burger trim as well. But we are good to go now. We're ready for some hot and fast. But first, come back, we'll show you how we season it. We're gonna use a little bit of light oil as a binder. Now, I've heard people say that oil prohibits that smoke penetration. I don't find that to be true, so we're good to go. Then season it as light or as heavy as you want. We're using a little bit of our rub-a-dub today, and we're gonna go ahead and season it. We'll let this sit for 5 minutes just so it has a chance to soak in. Flip it over, season the top side. All right, I got a little bit of rub on the top side. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of oil. That rub came off my gloves, don't worry about it. And now, like I said, we'll go again, get this top side seasoned how we want it. Now, we're gonna let this sit while our Big Green Egg preheats, gets up to that 350 degrees, because today we are cooking hot and fast. All right, so we went ahead and started the Big Green Egg. We refreshed that charcoal, used our loaf lighter, got it all started. Now we're rising temperatures up in that 200-degree range. It is time to add the ConvEGGtor, and we're gonna go ahead and add our drip trays in there as well. Get this set. Now we're gonna go ahead and close it. We'll adjust the top. We'll adjust the bottom. We're gonna get this up today to 350 degrees. While we're getting everything heated up and while that brisket is soaking a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and get my beef stock ready. I'm gonna have a couple cups ready because this is gonna come in handy when we get through the first part of the cooking process. Get ready to wrap it. All right, right at 350, we're gonna give it a burp. We are all set to cook indirect today. I'm gonna go ahead and get this brisket in here. Now, guess what? We're gonna do it fat side up. I know, we're doing controversial things today. Hey, we're also gonna be using our Weber Connect today just to get this done. We're cooking hot and fast. Now, I'm gonna go into the thickest part of the point. I am not going to go into the fat, right? But we're gonna start tracking that that like that. As that hits 165 degrees, we're gonna wrap it. Here we are right at an hour. We're sitting at 81 degrees. Let's give that a check. Oh man, that's a beauty. All right, we'll shut it. We're gonna keep going until we hit that 165. All right, there you have it. We are right at 165. Time to get this in the kitchen, show you how we wrap it. All right, what we're gonna do is go ahead now, and I'm gonna make a little pocket, right? I'm trying to wrap this guy all up. Make a little well, don't worry about that. We'll be able to see what we're doing. But I'm making a cool little, like, I don't know, what am I making? Envelope, that's right, aluminum foil envelope. Now, I'm gonna add that beef stock, 1 to 2 cups. We're gonna add about 1.5 cups, just like that. Now, we'll go ahead and do the rest. Get the rest of this wrapped up, and then we are going to leave this alone. Back into the grill, back into the egg. Okay, we put the probe back in. We've got our brisket all set, wrapped, and beef stock is ready to go. We're gonna leave this at 350 degrees. My guess, you guys, is we're looking at probably another 3 hours. So total cook time is gonna be between 5 and 6 hours. We know that, but I'm gonna do final doneness checking and final temperature checking with my big green egg thermometer. Until then, we'll leave it closed. Oh, look at that, 203.7. We are at perfect temperature. Listen, 5.5 hours, 5 hours and 40 minutes, but we are done. Let's pull this off. Let's head in the kitchen. We're gonna open this baby up, and I'm gonna show you what hot and fast brisket looks like on the big green egg. Okay, here we are. We let this rest for an hour, just so it could soften up a little bit and maybe reabsorb some of those beef juices, but I'll tell you what, look at. Got a nice little brisket wiggle going on there, but that, oh man, brisket in under like 20 hours. Absolutely amazing. All right, let's slice into this and see. Oh man, look at that. I would say I'm pretty happy with the results when it comes to a hot and fast brisket. Slice it as thick as you want, slice it as thin as you want, but look at this, you guys. Look at, absolutely falls apart. That is such a huge win. Hot and fast brisket, 5 hours, 40 minutes. Now, if you're curious about low and slow brisket, that video coming up next.